What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the New York Mets post-game show. It's your boy CP holding it down for you all. Rob can't make it, Zach can't make it, but I am here with you all breaking down this extra inning victory 5-4 over the Washington Nationals. What a come from behind win from the comeback kids. The New York Mets get the job done at home in the first game of this series. I absolutely love it. And you know what? A part of me was kind of discouraged. I don't know why I was discouraged, but I was sort of discouraged when I saw Mackenzie Gore out there and kind of having his way with this lineup at the start. But you know what? I should have known better because this Mets team has fight. They have grit and they know how to get to opposing bullpens, as we stated in the pregame show. And because of this, it's been a while since I've been on a post-game stream and we've been able to do this, but in honor of this victory, you all know what to do. Spam those W's, Mets fans. Spam those W's. It's a come from behind victory for your New York Mets. Let's go. We are here. It is a 5-4 victory thanks to a Jeff McNeil game-winning RBI in the last inning. I absolutely love it. His bat has been coming through as of late, and it's so refreshing to see because, again, this team never quits. It's never say die for the New York Mets at this point, and it is absolutely awesome. But before we fully get into this post game and breaking down this game that boosts the New York Mets to 43-24 on the season, 19 games over 500, and the Nationals are 30-36 on the season. I want to salute everybody in this chat. I definitely appreciate it. Please do make sure to smash those thumbs up buttons. Subscribe to the channel, whether you're on X or whether you're on YouTube. If you're over on X, come over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel for more post-game reactions, whether it's win, whether it's lose. We are here talking about the New York Mets, our beloved team from Queens. And as always, please, 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 please drop those comments in the live chat. I really want to hear what you all have to say. Look at all of these fans spamming the W's. W Mets. W, W, W. I absolutely love it. Cope is spamming the W's. I love it. Keep spamming the W's for the entirety of this post-game show. And there's so many good things to talk about from the New York Mets in this lens and in this game. From offense, especially after, the first inning, stranding Francisco Lindor, who got on via a lead-off hit. But they just kept on chipping away at this game. And it's something that we've seen from the New York Mets time and time again in this season. They just keep chipping away. It doesn't really matter what the lead is. There are some games where they've chipped away and they've still fallen into the loss, but today is a little bit different. And you know what? I will say, from the Nationals' perspective, and I'll follow this up, right? We're going to talk about the New York Mets, but from the Nationals' perspective, first and foremost, was anybody else in the chat surprised that Mackenzie Gore was pulled when he was? I was surprised. He was rolling. It looked like he had one more inning to go 7 innings against the New York Mets and then hand it off to his bullpen in the 8th inning. But they pulled him after 6 innings. I was kind of surprised, to be honest with you. I was kind of surprised because I really do think that he could have gone at least one more, or maybe just seeing how that inning was opening up for him. But you know what? The New York Mets, I know they didn't score in that next inning against Lord, but I'm sure sighs of relief in that dugout. But you know what? They did a job. They did a job against Mackenzie Gore, and they helped out Griffin Canning, and they willed him into that 5+ inning territory where it looked like when Griffin Canning was hanging breaking balls in the first couple of innings, especially to CJ Abrams, Nathaniel Lowe, and getting out to an early deficit, he wouldn't have made it that long. But it was good for the offense starting in the second inning with that bloop hit from Jeff McNeil to slowly chip away at that lead. Juan Soto in the third inning, solo home run, making it 4-2 at that point. it was really good to see. It was a total team collective effort. We'll get into the bullpen here in just a second as well, because I do really want to shout out Justin Garza. I mean, I don't even know where that guy came from. I'm not going to lie. I missed the transaction of him coming up to the big league team. I must have missed it. But he throws gas. He throws absolute gas. And the late break on his off speed is tremendous. Mets fans, stand up. This team is 19 games over 500, knocking on the door of 20 games over 500. And it doesn't really matter at this point to me the manner of which we win these games. It doesn't matter. A win's a win, especially such a hard-fought victory against an NL East rival. And we said it in the pregame. This series was going to be very tough. Mackenzie Gore is an ace. He's pitched to this point, to a sub-3 ERA. Over his past 3 starts, he's gone 20-plus innings pitched with 1 earned run given up. And I know the Mets really didn't do much damage against him. They put up 2 earned runs. That's still pretty decent. And they were able to hold the game in order for the bullpen to come in and do what they do and do what they've been doing in the entirety of this season, and enough for the offense to finally come through. Juan Soto, clutch hit. Pete Alonso, super clutch hit. I know that he got thrown out at second base, but a super clutch hit from Pete Alonso off of Kyle Finnegan, who is a true veteran, by the way. Kyle Finnegan made his way back onto the Nationals. I was having conversations about the New York Mets potentially going after Kyle Finnegan this past offseason before he went back to the Nationals. A true professional veteran, a former All-Star, Pete Alonso gets it done. 2-out RBI to tie the game up. Absolutely awesome. And this is the thing right here. And we'll get into the box score here in just a second. Canning battled. He didn't have the flashiest of starts. He didn't look as bad as he did against the Chicago White Sox two times out before, but he didn't look as good as he did against the Los Angeles Dodgers his last time out, right? But he battled, and that's the key thing to understand here. He didn't have his best stuff. The breaking ball for him was clearly being hung to the opposing batters. CJ Abrams was able to do everything, right? I believe it was 3 extra base hits against Griffin Canning. But Canning held in there and battled. And this is what I tell everybody in the pregame stream, especially when we're assessing the Mets starting pitchers, right? Keep your team in the ball game long enough and keep them close and within striking distance. And you would hope, with how good this Mets offense is and is starting to be, they're coming around, they will take care of business in the later innings when it is time to take care of business. And that's exactly what happened today. That's exactly what happened today. Patrick checking in onto the stream. LFGM, absolutely. Yes, I do have to fix the scoreboard. I do apologize. This is an old template. Let me actually just fix that right now, because I know that's gonna it's gonna be a sticking point here in this stream. Obviously, Kevin Herget is no longer here, to be honest with you. So let me just fix this, because I know Mackenzie Gore was not the winning pitcher. This is what happens when you have templates. Sometimes it doesn't really fall in line. So Reed Garrett, let's just do this right here, right now. Reed Garrett was the winning pitcher. I believe Henry was the losing pitcher for the Washington Nationals. And let me just say the closer was also Reed Garrett, because Reed Garrett had a tremendous extra inning performance. I mean, really, this Mets bullpen did wonders in this game, from Reed Garrett to Justin Garza, right? To Castillo, to Jose Buto getting the job done. It was a total team effort for the guys that relieved Jose Buto. And it has been all season long. Again, this bullpen is phenomenal. They are elite. For those of you all who were not a fan of me using that elite term for the bullpen last season, they were elite. And this is exactly what happens when the Mets have exciting wins like this. I rush a little bit and I make mistakes. So here you go. Here is the updated scoreboard here. Nothing changes minus the winning pitcher, the closing pitcher, and the losing pitcher. So I do apologize about that, but it was a good catch. It was a good catch. So I appreciate that, keeping me honest in the chat. Let me get to some of these chats here before we get into the actual box score of it all, like I promised we would. Shout out to Sharon in the chat. Shout out to Darren in the chat. Boston sports fan. Shout out to UW Mets in the chat. Stanley in the chat. And this is the thing right here from Dwayne. No lead is safe against the New York Mets. No lead is safe. And that's exactly where you want to be as a team, especially when we're talking about this offense not quite clicking on all cylinders as of just yet. They're coming around, and this offense is becoming scary right before our very eyes. But they haven't hit their apex yet. They haven't hit their true potential just yet. And 19 games over 500, even given that fact, is so very scary. So very scary. So I love it. I love it. Let's get into the box score here, as you might hear my puppy screaming and barking in the background. I do apologize about that. Let's get into the box score here, right? Because this is what we got. Let's start off with Griffin Canning. Again, as I mentioned, not really the best start in terms of being sharp. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 87 pitches. He didn't even hit the 90 pitch mark. 7 hits given up. This is a pesky Nationals lineup. And we saw that today. This is a pesky Nationals lineup. 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. He didn't really walk many batters, so that's really good to see. He had command of his pitches, I guess you could say, but not really, because the location with his off-speed pitches really wasn't there. And the ERA goes up a little bit to 3.22 ERA on the season. But Griffin Canning, all in all, as we mentioned in the pregame as well, has been holding it down, has been absolutely holding it down for this team. And the fact that George said he battled, in the live chat is absolutely true. It's absolutely true, because he could have let things accumulate. And when you start letting things accumulate, when you know you don't have your best stuff, that's when things start to spiral and things get out of reach for your offense. So I'm going to repeat myself probably 5 more times in this stream. It was a really good job by Griffin Canning, not because he had his best stuff, but because he battled out there. That was the best aspect of Griffin Canning's game in this game. But you got to tip your cap to CJ Abrams. I mean, he absolutely had the best of Griffin Canning in this outing. He absolutely got the best of Griffin Canning in this outing. So that was good, because you give up an absolute bomb to Nathaniel Lowe in the early goings of this game. I saw that shot by Nathaniel Lowe, and I just looked up his stats on the season, because I was like, that was a decent acquisition via trade for the Nationals this offseason. But I was like, I haven't heard of this guy that much. I'm curious. I was curious what he was hitting on the season. And the numbers aren't pretty for Nathaniel Lowe. He's a high strikeout guy, and he proved to be that in the later stages of the game. But when he gets a hold of one, it goes a long way. And you definitely saw that as well. But let's just take a look here. Jose Butto, like the collective unit from the bullpen that got the job done behind Griffin Canning, right? Jose Butto, Castillo, right? Jose Castillo, or Luis Castillo, excuse me. Reed Garrett, Edwin Diaz, and who else am I missing here? Who else am I missing here? Somebody correct me here. Jose Butto, Luis Castillo, Reed Garrett, Edwin Diaz. Am I missing anybody? Justin Garza. That's right. That was being a little bit sarcastic, if you guys couldn't tell. Because Justin Garza, where did this guy come from? I'm going to do a quick search right here. Justin Garza, Mets. Was this another Mets select Justin Garza? Mets add reliever Justin Garza to active roster. I want to know where he came from. Because this guy, with what I saw in his season debut today for the New York Mets, could be something serious for this bullpen in terms of just the stuff that he possesses. The Mets acquired Justin Garza from the Giants in exchange for cash considerations, the team announced Saturday, which was 3 days ago. Justin Garza is a stud. And thank you to the chat. I appreciate you all. Dwayne, Oliver, George. Yeah, I missed this. I wasn't a part of any streams. Unfortunately, on the weekend, I was actually missing a lot of Mets news on the weekend. So I didn't see the Mets make this move for Garza. 98 miles per hour with the fastball is electric as it is. The late break movement from his off-speed pitches is something serious. And you saw him in the dugout when the camera panned to him. Edwin Diaz was warming up, but I believe Hefner was going up to talk to him, and he was like, listen, you might get another inning. He eventually didn't, but he was like, yeah, give me another inning. I want to go out there. We need guys like that. Subtle acquisitions like that embrace the spotlight, that want to go out there and are not afraid of the bright lights of New York and playing for a team that has championship caliber aspirations. You know, that's the type of guys that I want and we want on this team. And David Stearns, again, I know it's a little bit premature. I understand that. A little bit premature. Season debut, looked fantastic in his season debut, but this is the value of David Stearns headlining your front office, especially making these mid-season acquisitions for your bullpen. And now it's a plethora of guys contributing out of the bullpen in long relief. Hagenman earlier on against the Twins, if anybody remembers that series. Brandon Waddell as recently as the last week, I believe in his second outing. Now Justin Garza. It really is, Dwayne. It's doing it under the radar. These moves are under the radar. So again, you know, this is why when people say, when I come up on here and say on stream, I'm not going to question David Stearns, is because of moves like this. It's because of moves like this. 75 people here in the chat for the post game. I definitely appreciate that. Keep dropping those comments in the live chat. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button on the channel. I definitely appreciate it. It won't be a long post game. I won't take up too much of your time. The Phillies did drop a game, which is great news for the New York Mets, gaining another game on the division lead. They lost 8-4 to Chicago Cubs, but please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. And shout out to Sharon with the $2 super chat. We signed Soto on your birthday, LGM. That must have been a hell of a birthday present, Sharon. Juan Soto on your birthday, I would have been celebrating probably until 9 o'clock the next morning. Probably until 9 o'clock the next morning. So salute to you, Sharon. But enough of the pitching side of things, because I can sit here, you know, all season long really and give kudos to almost every single pitcher that has touched the mound for the New York Mets in the Mets uniform this season. Bullpen rotation, they've been holding it down. Let's talk about the offense. And this is the box score for the offense from Lindor all the way down to Ronnie Mauricio. Ronnie Mauricio didn't really have a great game. Went 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts. That's okay. Francisco Lindor, again, a quiet night. Started the game off, leadoff hit, got stranded. 2 strikeouts after that. Marte didn't really do that much, but again, with Starling Marte getting on base when the team needs you to get on base and putting together a professional at-bat to set up Juan Soto and Pete Alonso to do what they do. To do what they do. And that was in the 8th inning. Soto comes up, hits a line drive. I thought that line drive was going to get caught in right field by Hassel. But I actually saw the Washington Nationals series, their last series. I'm forgetting and blanking on who was against. I believe it was against the Texas Rangers, where Hassel had a similar play in center field. And this guy's young. Hassel's young. He was also part of the Juan Soto deal from San Diego to Washington in that Juan Soto package, along with Josh Bell going back to San Diego. But it seems like defensively, on those in-between plays, he struggled. And that's at least the second time I've seen him do something like that so far in his professional career. And it ended up paying dividends for the New York Mets, especially for Juan Soto, with an RBI double, bringing in Marte to make it 4-3. And then Pete Alonso, the guy who has been ultra clutch, Mr. Clutch for the New York Mets so far this season. You know, with the pitching change and all, Kyle Finnegan, predominantly a 2-pitch pitcher, taking strike 1 and not missing the next strike, sending it to the wall for a game-tying hit. Gets thrown out. That's okay. Mets take care of business. But that's the thing. It's like the progressions of the top of the lineup, especially with Marte, right? And that was done with 2 outs, by the way. That was done with 2 outs. That was the 2-out Mets right there. Marte with the walk. He scores all the way around the bases, but from the hit and then the misplay by the Nationals to make it 4-3. Juan Soto standing on second base. And by the way, I saw the replay from the Mets account when Pete Alonso hit that ball. If you see that tweet and that video on the Mets social media account, when Pete Alonso got that hit, pay attention to Juan Soto standing on second base right as the delivery starts from Kyle Finnegan. Right as the delivery starts from Kyle Finnegan. You know what you're going to see? And I don't really want to reveal the Mets secrets here, but this is classic baseball 101. This is unwritten rules of baseball. Juan Soto is actually signaling to Pete Alonso, right? He's got his hand right by his knee, and he has his palm out like this. He's signaling, at least what I think he's signaling. If you rewatch it, let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments after this live stream is done. He's signaling to Pete Alonso that particular pitch, right? Because you're talking about a 2-pitch pitcher with Kyle Finnegan. Fastball, off speed. And I believe what Pete Alonso hit was off speed. He was signaling to Pete Alonso that the off speed was coming. And I didn't see that live. I saw on the replay. And it's just every baseball team does it. It's an unwritten rule of baseball, right? It's an unwritten rule of baseball. Hide your signs better. And that's just the advantage that a runner on second base has to give and relay to the batter. So I'm sure the Washington Nationals are going to want to figure that out, especially with Kyle Finnegan on the mound, if that becomes a situation tomorrow or the day after. So, yeah, I mean, listen, Soto's got he's 26 years old, Cope. He's been in this league for a long time at this point. You can call him a veteran even at 26 years old, which is crazy to think about, but he's got tremendous baseball IQ. Tremendous baseball IQ. Tremendous. And just going back into the box score here, Tyrone Taylor scorched the baseball early on in the game for a double down the line. And Jeff McNeil, I mean, what more can we say about Jeff McNeil at this point? What more can we say about Jeff McNeil? Another multi-hit game, 2 RBIs. He's got the Mets' first and last RBIs of the game, including the game winner, the walk-off in the 10th inning. and he is swinging a tremendous bat right now. He's showing a little bit of pop too. I think he's got 6 home runs on the season. He's on pace for 12 plus, which is usually 12 is usually like 10 to 12 is usually where he sits at home run wise, but he's on pace for more than that right now. And I'm not saying that I'm expecting, worldly power from Jeff McNeil, but I'm expecting exactly what we've gotten out of him in the past week or so. Let's see his splits over the past week and 2 weeks, respectively. Splits from Jeff McNeil. I'm on ESPN. Last 7 days, he's hitting 304 with an 1100, with almost an 1150 OPS. In the last 15 days, he's hitting 300 with still over 1,000 OPS. Jeff McNeil deserves a round of applause. He has showed up with his bat in a major way. And not only that, he is proving, right? Whether you agree with this or whether you don't, at least he's showing a little bit of versatility in being able to play center field on the off occasion when it's Tyrone Taylor's time to sit. So again, Jeff McNeil, we've had a lot of different discussions about Jeff McNeil, what he's going to provide when he came off the IL against this Nationals team in Washington earlier on the season. He had a good season or good series then. And he's starting off this series against the Nationals very well right now. I mean, Jeff McNeil has been the production that he's given this Mets team and the boost that he's given this Mets team right now is much needed, especially as some of the other guys are trying to figure it out and trying to get into their own this season, right? Particularly Brandon Nimmo, I would say. Really good. Really good. So I was encouraged by the Mets fight in this game. And also, I mean, you take a look at Juan Soto, right? In that third inning. I mean, he basically looked foolish in his first at bat against Mackenzie Gore. And by the way, you were talking about Hassel being a part of that Soto package. As Gary and Ron were talking about on the broadcast today, there were 4 guys that were a part of that Juan Soto trade in the ball game for the Nationals. Maybe even 5 with Josh Bell, who actually went along with Juan Soto to San Diego. But you have Hassel, Abrams, Wood, and Gore. That's 4 prospects in the same game going up against the guy that they traded to San Diego, making his way back to the New York Mets and Juan Soto. And it looked like Juan Soto had a little bit of fire underneath him after that solo home run, in which he took Mackenzie Gore deep to left field, opposite field home run. He was kind of staring him down as he was rounding the bases. Little bit of fire. Like, yeah, they traded me to get you, and I got the best of you right now. And I know that Ron Darling wasn't really a fan of that. That's okay. That's today's baseball. Like, hitters celebrate. Even pitchers, right? Mostly relievers, I would say, but a lot of pitchers also get amped up. Like, that's part of the game, right? So I thought that was funny to see. But it was a really good adjustment. My overall main point there, it was a good adjustment from Juan Soto. Because if you notice what Mackenzie Gore was doing early on in the game, is exactly what the booth said that he does, is he throws a lot of fastballs down and into right-handed hitters. And I saw that a lot to Francisco Lindor and Starling Marte. And then he throws the slider a lot to left-handed hitters. And we saw that the first time through, especially against Juan Soto, in which Mackenzie Gore got the strikeout. So he was trying to execute his game plan, in which he's been finding success with all season long. I'm talking about Mackenzie Gore. And that's the type of in-game adjustments you want to see out of the New York Mets, especially if your name is Juan Soto, right? With all the stupid noise, for lack of a better term, it's stupid noise around the MLB media at this point, talking about Juan Soto this and that and the overall statistics. As a Mets fan, Forget the fact that he came into this game hitting 244. I don't care about the batting average. I care about progressions as the season goes on, and especially in-game adjustments, which he was able to make tonight, right? You start the game off with a strikeout. Believe it was looking too, if I'm not mistaken, from Juan Soto, which is kind of rare, right? Kind of rare, I guess. We've seen it on a handful of occasions so far this season, but kind of rare. He's able to do exactly what he does best in seasons prior, which has made him, which is ultimately what resulted in his payday from the New York Mets and making those in-game adjustments. And I think that if this Mets lineup is able to just look at that in particular, Juan Soto's first at bat versus the second at bat tonight, and if this lineup is able to replicate that, right? However they can, this Mets lineup is going to be A-okay moving forward. A-okay. So that's what I'll say. That's what I'll say about that. Salute to Ray with another super chat. Salute CP spamming those W's on the live stream on the post game. I definitely appreciate that. And in honor of that super chat, Ray, loyal to the channel, I definitely appreciate that. Mets fans, if you're in this chat right now, please join me in spamming those W's in the live chat. It's a 5-4 victory. Let's go. I love it. I absolutely love it. W. W. Yes, absolutely. 100%. This could be a very deep lineup. We knew this going into the season. But again, when we're talking about the guys that have struggled so far this season, early this season, and starting to see those adjustments, and Mark Vientos is smiling in the dugout. It looks like he's in good spirits, trying to recover from that hamstring injury. I see things starting to come together for this Mets lineup, so to speak, right? It hasn't fully come together, but it's starting to come together piece by piece, and I love it. Got Kevin spamming the W's, George spamming the W's. I love it. Keep it coming because this team is absolutely rolling. Yes, Jeremy, thank you so much for this comment. This was a really big point in the game too, right? It was an RBI play, I believe, earlier on the game, which made it 4-2, if I'm not mistaken. But Soto absolutely gunning down Tena at the plate. It was a big play, in the grand scheme of things, because that would have brought in an extra run. The Mets, or not the Mets, but the Nationals third base coach, I guess, was trying to steal an extra run and catch the Mets defense sleeping. And this is the part of Juan Soto's game, right, that Jeremy's pointing out here in the live chat. This is the part of Juan Soto's game that has impressed me, right? Because again, he doesn't have worldly speed out there in right field. He doesn't have the best arm or the most accurate arm, in the outfield. But as this season has gone along, all in all, if you watch this team on a day in and day out basis, he has progressed defensively. And me personally speaking, I can't speak for any other Mets fan, but me personally speaking, I'm starting to build a lot more confidence in Juan Soto defensively out there in right field. And the play that Jeremy just pointed out was an absolute dime to Terens, getting Tena out, trying to get that extra run home in the early stages of the game, trying to build that lead. So it was really good to see, and it's been really good to see Juan Soto playing right field defensively. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me just scroll some of these comments here before we get out of this stream. Dolo is saying Soto's talking smack to the catcher. I believe that's Keibert Ruiz. Again, you don't know nobody knows what they're saying, but that was definitely something that opened my eyes and the booth's eyes with Gary and Ron talking about Juan Soto rounding the bases, kind of looking at Mackenzie Gore, and then definitely saying something to Keibert Ruiz, like Dolo's saying in the chat here. What else here? McNeil's making the second base situation more difficult for the other candidates, Acuna, Mauricio, Beatty. Yes, and we did see Beatty. I think Beatty put together a really good first at bat. He drove a baseball to the fence or to the warning track, I should say, and just missed a pinch hit home run. So that was good to see at least, but he's definitely objectively cooled down ever since that 3-week hot stretch that Gary was talking about on the stream. And with the way that McNeil is playing right now, this is what everyone wanted in the first place. This is why Jeff McNeil got the contract that he did and when he did, right? This is the version of Jeff McNeil that we've been wanting since 2022. And again, as I said on the pregame stream with Rob up on the screen with me, if Brandon Nimmo hasn't come out of this funk just yet, right? That's okay as long as Jeff McNeil, the other veteran on this team, the other core piece on this team, is picking up the slack. And that's what Jeff McNeil has been doing. And so I think it's like we've been expecting this out of Jeff McNeil. And it's gotten to the point where the expectations have gone down for Jeff McNeil, and now we're pleasantly surprised with this. But this is the version of Jeff McNeil that we've seen in the past. We just really haven't seen it collectively, maybe since, I guess, the 2-week stretch that he had in the second half of last season, maybe in spurts at the end of 2023, but all in all, consistently since 2022. Like, he's still a professional hitter at the end of the day. He's still a talented hitter, even if there's a shift against him or not with the current rules of the MLB. But I just feel like now we're surprised that we're getting this version of Jeff McNeil because the expectations have dwindled. Teams and players, I guess, like low expectations when people start doubting them. When expectations are low, the only way to go is up. We saw that from the Mets as a collective unit last season, and maybe now we're seeing that from Jeff McNeil. And I'll take it all day long. I'll take it all day long. So, really nice to see. Really nice to see. But yeah, this is the final box score one more time for those of you all who might have missed the game. Hopefully, I did a good job for you all in terms of recapping the game. Again, I really want to shout out this bullpen. They really held it down. The offense for sure, in terms of coming back into the game, right? After getting an early deficit 2-0 and then going down 4-2. But what I will say is that this bullpen was really, really good tonight. And especially Reed Garrett coming in. Edwin Diaz is continuing his phenomenal season. Uh, Edwin Diaz is on one right now. There's no stopping Edwin Diaz at this point, and hopefully that continues because at his best, this is the version of Edwin Diaz that we've come to know and love. He's killing it. But Reed Garrett coming into the ball game and posting a 0 in that 10th inning was everything to set up this walk-off victory. And Reed Garrett continues to put up a really impressive season. And I know he's had some start or some outings here and there in which he hasn't looked as sharp, but you take a look at the numbers collectively, if I'm not mistaken. Let's look up his numbers overall. I don't have it up at the top of my screen here. Let's look up the stats. Reed Garrett now has an 0.95 ERA, a 1.24 whip, which is walks and hits per innings pitched, 34 strikeouts. I mean, this guy's posting all-star numbers. Virginia native, didn't know that either. 32 years old. I mean, he's posting all-star numbers. Do I think he makes the all-star team? No, I don't think he'll make the all-star team because, again, as I stated on the pregame stream, there is bound to be one or maybe even two New York Mets that definitely deserve the all-star, an all-star nod that won't get it because it's the Mets at the end of the day. And we know that the all-star voting is kind of a sham, mostly. But that's why Mets fans, I've put my votes in already. I will continue to put another vote in if I can. Cast your ballots. Take these guys and put them into the All-Star game. Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Kodai Senga, Juan Soto, honestly, with the way that he's performing as of recent, I know that the numbers don't overall show it. Put him in the game, man. Reed Garrett, Edwin Diaz. These guys all deserve to be all-stars. All of them. Vote, Mets fans, vote. That's all I got to say. Listen, I definitely appreciate everyone being here after this electric victory, 5-4 walk-off fashion. Jeff McNeil gets the job done. Tomorrow's game, Jake Irvin against David Peterson. Jake Irvin, last time out against the Mets, he threw a gem. It was April 25th, if I'm not mistaken. 7 1/3 innings pitched of really competitive baseball. He's not going to be an easy task tomorrow. I know the ERA overall on the season for him shows as 4+. He's not going to be an easy pitcher to figure out for the Mets, historically speaking, too, because now he's seen the Mets, I want to say 4 or 5 times of the past couple of seasons. It's going to be another challenge, just as Mackenzie Gore was tonight for this Mets lineup. But good teams, great teams, elite teams, just like this Mets team is, they find ways to win these types of ball games. And that's exactly what they got to do. They got to go out there and do tomorrow. David Peterson on the mound, hoping for some longevity tomorrow. But again, how nice would it be to go into the day game on Thursday talking about a series secured and potentially going for the sweep in what would be back-to-back sweeps for the New York Mets following that Rockies series. So I appreciate it. Everybody that popped out in the live chat here after this game, please, again, if you have forgotten to do so, I won't judge, won't hold a grudge, but hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, pre-games, post-games, I'm going to try to get some pre-recorded videos out to you all at some point, whether it's like a series recap kind of thing, or whether it's talking about, the discussion that we had in the pregame. If you missed the pregame, go check it out. But we were talking about the deadline and what could transpire during the deadline. We're talking about Jarren Duran, Cedric Mullins, and maybe I'll put a pre-recorded video because I've talked about these players, in particular Luis Robert Jr. and Cedric Mullins, on my channel before. Have not really talked about Jarren Duran, but circumstances would have it in that the Boston Red Sox could potentially be shopping him at the deadline. He's got a lot of control, so we'll see what the deadline has to offer, and that's where I'm kind of planning to gear my pre-recorded videos towards, whereas the streams are just generally going to be series recaps, pre-game streams, and post-game streams. So I definitely appreciate it. If you've enjoyed the content thus far on the channel, again, I appreciate you all being here and being subscribed to the channel. It means a lot. And shout out to everybody in the chat. You all were great. You all were great. Too many of you all to name, but you all were great. And guess what? The Mets were great too. So with that, it's going to do it for me. Let's go Mets. Game 2 of this series tomorrow. Peterson versus Irvin. Tomorrow night, Game 2, Mets versus Nationals. Looking to take a series after this fantastic victory. Peace.